I'll get into it right now. All right, everyone. UFC Vegas 58 happened last night. Dos Anjos TKO'd by Fiziev. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about more MMA news. I just wanted to say that the first thing about this fight specifically was how Kyle. I was like, Kyle's got to be heartbroken by this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't happy about it, but
Yeah,
it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be because I've been an RDA fan for a while, but they were pretty respectful about it, and it didn't.
Yeah, it wasn't like
upset me. Yeah,
wasn't like a.
I thought I wish it had kind of went about 3 punches longer, but
yeah,
The fact that I didn't get a
they
text,
probably saved him 3 punches.
I was like, when I woke up, me and Sean, we were talking about how we just kind of like watched the replay afterwards of what had happened, and I was like, okay, I'm sure before I watched the replay, it couldn't have been that bad for him, even if he lost, because I didn't get a message from Kyle. And then when I saw that he got knocked out or he got TKO'd or whatever, I was like, damn, okay, Kyle. I think we just understand what a gatekeeper is, and that is RDA, is it not?
Well, yeah, at this point in his career, for sure.
yeah.
Like, he'll push anybody that he fights, but the ones that are ready to make that turn go through him.
For sure.
If he continues to want to do that, though, he is 37. He may just.
He's a high level gatekeeper too, though. It's not like a bad gatekeeper.
Probably the highest level gatekeeper of all time. Like, I was thinking in the very first round, I'm like, this is a guy who is, we all know that he takes on everybody, but he's literally fighting like a kind of a version of himself, 8 years younger, who's like super dynamic striking. Happens to just be, it's pretty obvious 30, maybe a minute in, that Fiziev is totally in his element. Like, he's like feeling it, and like he's looking really crisp and really good. I'm like, of course, that's what RDA has. He doesn't just have a beast. He always fights, but he has them on the best night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Everyone shows up to fight RDA.
Yeah, you have to, because he's complete. If you don't have every little tool, at least a little bit of every little tool, it's gonna be a long night for you. A solid game plan. Yeah. You guys hear that?
It almost makes me want to just what is that sound? I heard it sound like a cat or something.
Some of these kids over here is like screaming, I think, or something.
Oh, okay. Well, it may be watching that. I just wanted to think back to all of the mini RDA fights, and it's kind of a blur of just like really good stuff,
Yeah.
Like, he's just put on good fights. That's why he's lasted so long. Win or lose, he fights great guys, and when two talented fighters fight, it's usually pretty good, right? So I'm like, man, I can't think of one specific one though that like pops out to me. You guys have like a specific RDA fight that's like, that's
I think he's good, but if I'm being completely honest with you, he's not one of my favorites. Like, he's not somebody I'm like overly excited for, but he's good.
Yeah, dude. No, I feel the same. I feel like he is good. He'll put on. You're happy to see him on a card, but it's not like we don't root for him like we do so many other guys.
Yeah, for sure. It's weird.
I'd root for him over a lot of dudes at 155 personally, but then I don't know. I kind of like Oliveira better than him.
Yeah,
I think there is a point where, especially me and you, Kyle, we will root for the older guy. Like, we'll be like, or the guy who we grew up, or the guy who we've been watching for 7 or 8 or 9 years, just because we've been watching. We might not even like them 7 years ago, but because we've gotten to that point with them now, there's like an automatic respect or adoration for that type guy.
It's like he was a 155 champion, and then he lost to literally the best Eddie Alvarez we've seen out of him in the UFC. Moved up and made a run at the 170 title too.
Was it interim or actual welterweight title?
I think it was interim against Covington.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And those when Covington was like arguably at his like peak. I mean, he still could be because he's still kind of young, but
probably
prime Covington. So it's not like a bad
loss. He
loss.
definitely was just entering it. I feel like though he definitely was at his peak then too.
Yeah,
just got a good peak. Covington has
for sure. There's still a lot of good matchups for RDA despite losing, and he still has a little bit that he can. He has a tail end of his career left.
Right. Well, and honestly, the fight itself, kind of a lot like the card itself. not too exciting. Even before you watched the fights, it wasn't like a super attractive card. Just looking at the names on it. But so there's not much more to talk about from it. I don't know if you guys wanted to touch on anything. If you guys had any specific moments that popped out to you, I know Michael Johnson's a pretty good fight.
That was a pretty good fight, and we were talking about that a little bit. Like I kind of thought Michael Johnson had won, but I'm not mad. I guess at the decision ultimately because it was a super close fight, but it was really good. It was a barn burner for sure. I wouldn't say it's a fight of like a low on the fight of the year list contender. Like if you had like a top 15 so far of fights this year, it maybe be in that bottom 5 of the top 15.
It's a good fight.
It's top 10. It's not in the top 10, but it's honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. Yeah.
It was a good fight.
Yeah.
We call that we call it fight of the month.
Fight of the month. There we go. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
I can't think of a fight on the pay-per-view. I can't think of a fight that on that pay-per-view that was maybe better as an overall fight.
Yeah, I know that first round was really good with Lawler and
yeah, that was a good round. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it was a good fight and definitely up there. And I kind of thought Johnson won because the first round was like what they each had like a knockdown apiece, so it kind of was like, well, which knockdown did you think was better? You know what I mean? Which one did more damage? Blah blah blah. Second round, that Malarkey kid kind of pieced Johnson up the whole round, and then third round was pretty competitive. But I kind of thought, I mean, Johnson did outstrike him by a decent amount, and I thought was getting the better shots and kind of like getting light on his feet again and throwing some nice combos and things. So I guess it just came up to that first round and which knockdown in the first round did you think was better? And 2 out of the 3 judges thought Malarkey's was better.
Huh, that's a weird. So, yeah. It feels like you couldn't really look at it any other way.
Yeah, to me it wasn't because the first round was super close. Michael Johnson knocked him down. I kind of felt like he got a little anxious and like hopped on a submission that he didn't really fully have like control of, and then it got back to the feet, and then Malarkey rocked him and was like kind of bashing him up with some elbows. So I guess that maybe could kind of be why 2 out of the 3 judges saw it more towards Malarkey.
I hate to say that a fight doesn't matter, but Michael Johnson wins. What happens?
Not much. I mean, yeah, because that kid was only. I mean, that kid.
Well, I had $50 on that fight, so
Kyle lost $50.
Well, why would you ever bet that Michael Johnson's going to win?
It was a parlay.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you probably would have won a crazy amount of money, huh?
Well, there was only 2 fights, and I hit the other one. It'd have been like $270.
Not bad a little bit. Yeah. Not bad a little bit. So yeah, it was an all right card over and all though.
When I think of fights like that, and I say things like I just said about what would happen, that kind of takes out the point of things. I think.
Dude, my internet's fucking up.
Have you guys ever thought of the potential value in like a minor league system for UFC?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it'd be kind of dope if they had more of like a developmental league sort of thing,
and then had like that tier of rankings too.
Yeah,
and they wouldn't have to go to 10 or 15 or even 10. Maybe just 5. Just like have a ranking of 5 of those guys on there.
It's kind of cool because they kind of do have something. I mean, it's not really official or anything, but if you think about like Fight Pass, they have so many smaller like regional. I wonder if they like regional fights that they show on Fight Pass. I wonder if they kind of view that as their minor league. Like they don't own it, but they can always probably. I think they have deals with those guys where they can send like fighters like a developmental thing.
Yeah, I really couldn't tell. I wish I knew what the plan was overall to make those guys look stronger, because it just seems random to me that a guy will just have a good personality and then they'll pop. And it's like, if there was something else to kind of, I don't know. I just feel like that all sports should, and all big successful organizations should probably have like a minor league system
for sure.
To pull guys.
They all do pretty much, besides like MMA,
combat sports. Well, it'd be good too for like say somebody pulls out of a card and like you need somebody on a couple days notice. There's gonna be a minor league guy that's willing to get that
ready to go.
Why not give him that shot? He loses, send him back to the minors. If he wins, let him stick around for a little bit, or if he even just looks good, it'd be kind of a good thing.
Good point. Yeah. So, anywho, did you want to jump into some more news? I didn't want to derail us too much with my hypothesis about a minor league system.
No, it was good though. It's definitely a good call.
I'd never thought about it before.
This isn't really like super news or anything, but I guess at the press conference last night, Rafael Fiziev said, or I guess he was talking about Justin Gaethje, and I guess because Justin Gaethje was like talking about him or something, he said, "Don't talk shit and let's go." Let me see if I can find the direct quote. I guess he got asked about Gaethje. He said, "Yeah, I want to fight Gaethje. Gaethje, if you want to fight one more yellow guy with yellow hairs," he was referencing Charles Oliveira. He said, "We need to know who's best. That's a good match for you and me. If you're ready and you're not scared, don't talk shit and let's go." So what do you guys think about a potential matchup between those two? Rafael and Gaethje.
I mean, if Justin Gaethje's willing to give him the opportunity, it makes sense. It's a pretty good fight.
Yeah.
If he's willing to risk it without saying like maybe he wants
it's a smart move
Khalil or whatever.
From Fiziev. Because
Yeah,
I look at him, I'm like, just got a pretty good, I mean, I know RDA isn't like a huge leap up, but like a pretty good contender level guy that you which was like a little fight for you, It was like a nice little sweet little book for you. And then you look at Gaethje, little higher up, right? A little bit higher up on the food chain. You think, okay, you beat this guy, then you're kind of like immediately in the mix, like title shot, right? I mean, like kind of.
Oh yeah,
I feel that way.
If he goes in there and finishes Gaethje, he's getting at least the number one contender fight.
Gaethje, I don't want to say Gaethje is a good matchup for him, but I think Gaethje's always kind of like a good matchup for any super talented guy. Like he's going to give you a chance to beat.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
He
wins a good chunk of them, but he also leaves himself open for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's the price you pay for those wars. For those epic battles.
Immediately hearing it, I say he kills Fiziev and knocks his fucking head off. But when I think deeper into it, I'm like,
who knows?
Well, I think it'd be a great fight.
Maybe if it went to decision, he'd kind of have the edge. Maybe because you know how that division is right now, and they kind of do want some fresh blood. I feel like just naturally, kind of.
That's what I was saying earlier too. It's like he's the first guy to get his foot in there over the last like 3 years.
Yeah,
kind of.
The first new kind of name. I guess Beneil too, but Benil's been there a while. It's just that he
misses at the wrong time. Yeah.
He also too is just now becoming the top 5 guy. Like where he's the biggest part of his career. I think Beneil wasn't even ranked. You know what I mean?
They could make that fight too.
Yeah, Beneil and Rafael. Yeah,
I feel like you're missing out with that fight. I feel like because then you're losing a guy who you kind of want to throw up into the mix. You know what I mean? You want to start kind of building on a little bit. This is when if you're one of those two guys, you start kind of spouting off at the mouth a little more. So I'm happy after that win, he at least said a couple.
Yeah, put a name out there.
He wasn't being respectful. He was kind of just like, "Don't talk shit. Let's do this. Let's run this shit. I want the smoke."
Yeah, but still make sure you say something. Make sure you retort somebody's quote or something, and that will start to hype up a little bit of. Percolate a little juice there, and so these guys get it. They know that. I mean, if you got an agent, they got to tell you this stuff, and maybe in 2 or 3 years, who knows? Fiziev could be like a monster. He could be a guy who's like been running the division. You never know. But
for sure.
Well, they're gonna want to build. I think they're wanting to build up both those guys too.
Yeah,
I don't think so much about Beneil. I don't think that. More stories.
They announced a couple fights last night. They announced, some of these had already been kind of like rumored or heavily hinted towards, but they announced Corey Sandhagen versus Sonia Dong.
That'll be fun. I think that'll be a great
main
fight.
eventing that card, and I think on the same card they've.
That's gonna be an awesome fight.
Sadiq Youssef versus Giga Chikadze or whatever, however you pronounce it. Giga Chikadze.
Yeah, I saw that fight.
Both actually should be really good fights.
Who's the first dude? He's another Nigerian dude. I'm gonna go with the Nigerian guy.
Sadiq Youssef. Who did I just? Oh, he just beat Bruce Leroy. Alex Caceres.
Bruce Leroy.
Yeah,
that was a close fight, wasn't it?
I'm pretty sure it was a good fight for sure. Let me look it up. Sadiq.
Yeah, I'm just barely remembering that fight and remember seeing it.
Yeah, he is a Nigerian.
Yeah, they were saying stuff about him that night, and I was like trying to soak it up. So
he's 12-2. His only loss in the UFC is Arnold Allen by decision.
Well, Arnold Allen's like
surging right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are a pair of good fights. They do a good job at booking like good main events for these fight nights, and then they kind of sometimes will pepper in a lot of like unnamed, like underheard prospects and stuff like that, and sprinkle those in on like the prelims and stuff. But they usually always have like at least a solid looking fight on the main event, like a Corey Sandhagen Sonia Dong, because that's kind of a
That's gonna be a
low-key
great fight.
banger. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
for
dude.
sure.
I think it's gonna be a great fight.
Sandhagen's gonna probably smoke that
I
guy. I
take that.
think.
I wouldn't be surprised if Sandhagen hits him with like a knee in the first minute.
Yeah, that'd be
Well,
sweet.
and then I wouldn't be surprised if he just kind of hangs around anyways, though, and it doesn't end right there. I've seen Sandhagen hit people with all kinds of creative knees and not in the fight immediately. So I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, Frankie's the only one that really took the old.
I mean, he got starched completely.
Man, that was a sad day. Sad day for Frankie fans.
It
Yeah,
was
but,
yeah,
Went
it was
out like a
bad.
warrior. Frankie Edgar went out like a warrior. I won't hear anything else.
I haven't seen
But,
him.
Oh.
You guys think he fights again?
Yeah.
Is he
yeah, I think,
scheduled
yeah.
for anything? Let me look that up. Let me look. I don't
Little
know why I
Frankie.
started talking like Mario for a second. Let me look it up. Sorry, 1 second, gentlemen. Frankie Edgar. I don't think he has anything scheduled. Probably just taking some time off. That's smart.
Or just retiring.
He just because he fought Marlon Vera and got knocked out after that. I remember. So
What
that
if he's
was
just like Dunzo?
he might be. I mean that's two nasty knockout losses in a row.
Yeah.
And before that, he beat Pedro Munoz by split decision, and then before that, got TKO'd by Chang Sung Jung in the first round.
Well, then he
I
got
mean,
fucking bricked by Brian Ortega a little bit before that, right?
yeah, so the kind of the bad stretch for him started with that fight. He got knocked out by Ortega. Then he beat Cub Swanson, but then he lost to Max Holloway for the featherweight title by decision. Then got TKO'd by Chang Sung Jung. Split decision win over Pedro Munoz, but then those two nasty knockouts in a row with Corey Sandhagen and Marlon Vera. So that being said, do you guys want to see Frankie Edgar fight again?
No.
I kind of
Not at
don't.
all.
Hell yeah.
Man,
Hell
I don't know if
yeah.
I want to see him get starched again.
Fight
Who
Jose
does he
Aldo.
beat? Who does he beat at 135?
I'd say you have him fight Jose Aldo.
Jeez, that's not good. I like it though. I do like the booking of it though.
It's just like
I mean,
old
just because
school.
it's a dream match. It's an old school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel the
Well,
same
like
way
that-
about.
I
like,
think Aldo
and
pieces
Cruz.
his ass up though.
But yeah, I do too. But I think that's a good sword to die on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to go out for Frankie Edgar. You get the bag too. That will sell. You put that on a fight night as a headliner, it'll sell. You
For
don't even
sure.
got to jam it up with something better. Like that
No.
will sell. I will watch that.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, get Frankie Edgar's bag, get him a legacy match. That'll be the last thing we remember of him either way. We won't remember any of the other. That's a bit of a roller coaster end of a career, anyways. I mean, like that's pretty good. He was winning, losing. You know, lost a couple times.
For sure.
Yeah. Got brutalized a couple times.
But that's how. I mean, look at Anderson Silva's end of his MMA career. I mean, the
Bad.
guy, it's like 7 of 8 fights lost.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
bad.
It's very
it
bad.
was
looking.
rough. So I mean, it's nice to go, win, loss. That's an okay way to put out a career, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Problem is he goes out there and he goes out there and beats Jose Aldo. Now he's just back in that weird purgatory that is not gonna win again. Like not win a
Yeah.
championship again.
Jeez, that would be crazy. Because then we're talking about who we book with him.
If Frankie Edgar wins,
Yeah. And Frankie Edgar wins. Who do you book with? Who do you book for Aldo afterwards? Like who's ending Aldo's career? It's like the same question but backwards, right?
yeah, it's well the thing is like even if Edgar wins, it's still the end right there.
I
They're
think
gonna go make a run.
I think it's disgusting that we haven't had Aldo and Connor too. I think it's just absolutely tragic.
Yeah.
Well now Aldo's like
Aldo's at
135.
135, and
No, I
Connor
don't
made.
care. Yeah, I'm like I don't care. You do a catch weight. You could be. I don't give a
Catch
damn
weight
how-
164.
One catch weight 164.
Oh man,
I
I don't
wouldn't
like.
give a damn. I just think I would like. I really want to know if Aldo got over the mental ownership that McGregor had. Maybe watching McGregor loosen that. Maybe him reviving his own career and kind of keeping.
I think if they
Dude,
fought at a catch weight at 160, I
Jose's-
think Connor would smoke him.
Jose's
Jose
always
fought
been
it
there.
fighting heavy is not a good thing to me. Losing a lot of that speed and things like that, I don't think that's a good
That's
deal
a good
for
point.
him.
I like
That left will be there. That left
I
will
like
be
that
there
argument.
for sure.
that you can't just put on bulk and be as good as you are.
Because I feel like that's a lot of Aldo's assets is like the explosiveness, and I feel like you lose a lot of that if you come in heavy.
I do feel like Aldo would have a lot of good stuff later, though. I feel
I'll
like
tell you,
his
it'd go
body-
long. It'd go longer than it went last time for sure.
Yeah.
What if it didn't? What if it didn't though?
Son of, well, that's that. I like that you said that because that is really what I think. I'm
Yeah.
like, what if he's still like, and we'd see it in the presser, would we not? We'd
I
see
think
he's,
Connor weirdly would be respectful towards him because he's actually
I
very
do
respect.
too.
Yeah. Like he big
Oh,
ups
God.
him on Twitter all the time nowadays. Like whenever Jose fights, he's always like, "Oh yeah, I'm tuning in for Jose." Like you could tell he was a fan. Like as much shit.
I
as
think
Connor
it-
talked.
I think it would mess with Jose's psyche even more if he was
Probably.
supportive.
I think because you know the reason why that is because oh, sorry, my phone just started recording me for no reason.
That's
The
weird.
reason that is because when
Russian
you
sleeper.
don't mind somebody who you've beaten, do you? Like
No.
me as a sports fan, I don't mind the what team don't I mind? Like there's the Pacers, like or the Colts. I don't. There's a sports team that I don't mind. Oh, the Bears. The Bears never win nothing. We beat them in the Super Bowl. I'll never
Yeah.
mind the Bears. You know, like I'm like, you know, without the Bears, the Colts don't win a Super Bowl. If it's any
Yeah.
quarterback other than the Rex Grossman led Bears, then so I'll always be like, okay, Bears, Panthers, Bears, any
Right.
team. Bears is kind of my second favorite team because I don't hate them for some deep reason, and it's got to be the same way with Connor, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't mind that guy. I got put on top because of what I did to that guy. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
for
saying?
sure. That fight made me.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not like it was with like Ben Askren and Jorge Masvidal, was it? Like they really like Masvidal really no McGregor was just selling a fight,
Yeah,
and that's what
Yeah.
Aldo did not understand. You know,
for
he was
sure.
like, no, this guy.
Neither did Khabib, dude.
Yeah.
yeah. Khabib did not because Connor gets so deep underneath that skin.
Yeah.
You don't know left from right, and you're thinking everything. You're hanging on every word he says, and that's why we're talking about it, even though he hasn't fight in months and months and months. That's why
You're
he's
right.
such a
Yeah.
polarized
Probably won't
guy.
fight until 2023.
And then we're
He'll
talking
get-
retirement fights. He's in retirement.
It'll be Oliveira versus him for the title.
Man.
No, I think that it'll be whoever has the title in him.
Oliveira.
I think it might be Oliveira.
I hope it is. It better be, right?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I
Don't
think
like
if
that-
anybody
don't
beats
like that
Islam,
about
it
the
probably is
rankings.
Charles.
If Islam is the champion, Islam will be like, we're not giving that guy any kind of money. Pull the old
Would you,
Khabib and not even call him by name.
Would you guys mind me going and checking my burnt ends?
Go for it.
All right, I'll be like.
I'll be right
30
back too
seconds.
then because I got pee.
Yeah, I probably
Okay,
should do
this
the
is
same then. Take a
regular
little piece.
intermission. We're
Yeah,
not
quick edit.
needing
Quick
to
edit.
edit. Them motherfuckers are gonna be fire. I am
Flame.
excited.
Flame.
Let me see what stupid news stories I got popping. I had another one pulled up. I know I did.
What's popping? Don't mind me. Just
Oh, this is a bad one. Who cares? I'll roll into it. Luke Rockhold talking shit on Adesanya as if that's gonna, do something special. Former UFC middleweight champion, can't believe that that's even a thing, a title for Luke Rockhold, has assessed the title picture ahead of his return and believes that contender Robert Whittaker would be a tougher test than division chief Israel Adesanya. Are you guys buying it? Are you guys buying that he actually believes this nonsense?
I think there are certain matchups. I think there are certain matchups that are worse against Robert Whittaker than Adesanya. I don't know if Luke Rockhold's one of them, but I do think his jiu-jitsu is amazing. Like, he'll tie up Izzy on the ground.
I kind of think he'd. I mean, I'm not saying that he'd beat Izzy. I'm just saying that I think Whittaker is kind of a nightmare matchup for him.
Yeah,
I more so than Izzy. I think.
I agree. I think that's the best point. Is that? Oh yes, okay. Whittaker would absolutely annihilate you, no doubt.
Yeah,
I think Izzy would too.
No, he would.
Yeah.
He would, but I think Luke Rockhold has a better backdoor chance against Izzy than he does Robert. More of that Hail Mary chance.
That to me is just, it makes it even more outrageous. I like what you're saying, and I'm not saying I disagree, but it almost,
I know what you mean.
To me, like, me and Shawnee I used to joke around and tell him I could beat up like, famous boxers and stuff like this.
Yeah.
It's just outrageous. It's like, what if I walked up to you, Sean, was like, I could knock out Mike Tyson. I could also knock out Lennox Lewis.
Right.
You'd be like,
within 5 seconds of each other.
You couldn't knock out either of them.
Yeah.
But you'd get closer to knocking out Lennox Lewis.
Yeah. For sure.
But like, absolutely not. I'd get starched by Lennox Lewis. And like, that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah,
like, Luke
I agree. I don't think he has a chance against either of those guys.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think it is within a round.
We were kind of talking about this before you hopped in the chat. We were talking about because
his BJJ slept on though.
Obviously, Izzy's going to fight Pereira probably. If Izzy gets past that, let's say Luke Rockhold does manage to beat Paulo Costa. You got to think that's kind of what they want, because after Pereira, they'd have no challengers. I feel like they would give Rockhold a shot just because there's nobody else, and because Rockhold.
Well, Costa was just a contender too.
Yeah, not too long ago.
I think you guys will agree. It kind of depends on time, doesn't it? Because if Robert Whittaker won 2 fights handedly, there's no reason to think that they wouldn't pull a Holloway Volk, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Because a lot of people did think that Whittaker won that second fight. So 100%.
Yeah. And it's literally the same exact type idea.
Exact same scenario. It's kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess.
Well, it'd be wild too if like Izzy went in there and just did what Volk did in the third fight and just
and
like
their teammates and everything. It'd kind of be like a plot symmetry,
Well, and it's a powerful enough thing to do, beat a talented guy at a division like that so consecutively, so close in time, like during their prime, if you will.
Definitely.
That it's
special.
Like almost ensures like some kind of a Hall of Fame-esque viewing of that.
Dude, could you imagine if Robert Whittaker could sneak down to 170?
Whew. Man, that'd be a fun fight, him and Usman.
What if Kelvin Gastelum just like fucking lost 35 pounds?
Well, he was 170 at first. He just couldn't
both
discipline
of those guys
himself.
were. Whittaker and Gastelum both started as welterweights.
I think Whittaker grew out of his, but Whittaker grew out of his, but Kelvin did not. He just ate out of his. I sometimes
wonder if Kelvin Gastelum like just did cardio for like a year. If he could get down to 155,
because
I know
that he kind of looks like he just ate nachos for a year.
I'm talking about like if Kelvin Gastelum was absolutely shredded,
man,
I think that 155 is a believable thing.
Well, the thing is he gave Izzy his worst probably fight so far.
Yeah, that fight was crazy.
He's 11th ranked, dude. Like, watch what has Kelvin Gastelum done since?
Yeah, it's unreal because he gave him the hands, dude. He gave Izzy the hands.
I think the only win he's had since then is over Ian Heinisch.
Who the fuck's that?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Because after that, he lost to Darren Till. It was Darren Till's middleweight debut. Then he beat Ian Heinisch, and I think he's lost his last 2 or 3 after that.
If you're a young guy and you're rolling around in 185, kind of trying to get up in that top 15 ranking, what you do is you say, I want to headline a card. If I want to be on a fight night and I want it to be headlined by Kelvin Gastelum in a cake, because Kelvin Gastelum couldn't beat the shit out of his own fucking weight issue, and just get on him and start literally riling up and like going scorched earth.
Dude, that may be one of the worst decisions you can make. Kelvin Gastelum's clean, dude. I don't know if you want to fight a motivated Kelvin Gastelum.
I wonder what his psyche is right now. I wonder what Kelvin Gastelum's mind state
is.
That's
like, dude, if you got him motivated enough to actually come in there ready.
Well, some guys when they kind of see in red, they don't fight the same fight. You get Kelvin Gastelum a little. I've never seen Kelvin Gastelum rattled emotionally by a fighter. I've never seen.
And maybe what makes him actually take his training camp seriously, though.
Kelvin's 1-6 in his last, or 1-5 in his last 6.
Oh the sole
win
God,
being over Ian Heinisch.
That is bad.
Who's the other?
Started with Izzy. He had the title fight against Izzy. He lost. Then he lost split decision to Darren Till. Then he got heel hooked in 78 seconds by Jack Hermanson. Then he beat Ian Heinisch by decision, but then lost to Robert Whitaker and Jared Cannonier by decision.
Oh, those are all right losses, man.
No, but 2 of those you can't lose. You can't lose the Hermanson fight. I don't want to hear it, dude.
Well,
if you want to get top 5, you can't. Yeah.
Well, no, the heel hook and 78 seconds is like that's a fluke. That's a random.
Not really though, because Hermanson's known for that. That's like his weapon.
Yeah.
So he should have known how to defend that.
No, Hermanson's known for. I didn't know him for that, but if Sean.
I'm pretty sure that he's not. He's gotten multiple of those.
Well, no, I was just saying, like, I mean, it's like, okay, yeah. But it's still like a fluke, like, loss.
Imagine running into Alexei Olenek and Jack Hermanson in an alley.
Oh,
and you're just getting like choked up here and then like heel twisted down here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It'd be nuts. Bravo choke.
Anyways,
Is that what it's called? Ezekiel choke or Bravo choke? Which one is
Ezekiel choke? I thought.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I think
they're the same.
He's actually landed. I think he's landed like another weird choke too. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah, he's nuts, man.
It's beautiful. But anyways, I was shocked that you guys actually made a pretty valid point, pretty valid argument for like Rockhold actually being correct.
Yeah,
that he would stand a better shot against.
But only because
Whitaker. But only stylistically, right?
He might last a round longer against Izzy than he would against.
Izzy makes a huge mistake. He gets Izzy's back or something. That's it. Like,
yeah.
And you know what? If Izzy would go out and just knock the fucking head off a Cannonier in a round, we wouldn't say that.
No, we wouldn't have. Exactly.
No, he lets people hang around. He really does. It's
yeah,
be a
he does.
That's what's good. And then Pereira might make him pay for that, man. Pereira really might make him pay for that.
I think what's going to. I think the worst thing going into this for Izzy is like the history of it. He may actually be a little like concerned about like coming in there and defending his belt. Like he may be a little concerned. He may actually get a little aggressive, and it may hurt him because he may be trying to go out there and put this guy away quick, prove he's the best 185er. I mean, what it'd be is what 6 title defense, something like that.
5 right now, 6.
I mean, obviously he's still far away off Anderson, but a 6 title defense run is good.
Very good. Yeah. Also, too, it's not related to his thing with Pereira, but when he did that press conference at the last pay-per-view and Strickland was fucking with him, that's the first time it looked like somebody got under Izzy's skin. So that's a sign to me that like pressure may be starting to get, because he just signed that big contract. He's like one of the top 3 highest paid active fighters. So, I mean, he's got a lot of pressure on him to be like the man right now. But his opponent, like, he hasn't really like sauced, like, he hasn't went in there and like smoked anybody recently. Like, it's all been kind of like by the skin of your teeth. Yeah.
I think it kind of got like Matt was saying with like the GSP effect, where at a certain point he realized, I'm just going to do what it takes to win. It doesn't matter if it looks ugly.
Well, but the difference is, I don't mean to cut you off, is that GSP would like do it in a dominant fashion, right?
Yeah.
And the way I see out of Sonia, like, and this was the reason it was a hard thing to argue, because like I did feel like Cannonier was going to get a sneak shot in, but like you never are confident about a guy getting a sneak shot in. But the thing is like that's what it was. I knew Izzy could win and was a more talented striker, to be honest, in terms of like up here. But he lets people hang around, and I was like, I could see in the middle of a third, he's just kind of going through the motions of this fight, kind of trying to keep the distance. And there were some small moments where Cannonier would like clip him, and you could tell he'd react. but it just wasn't like that shot that could really knock him out. I mean, like Izzy's not got a specifically bad chin, of course.
Yeah.
But this is a guy, Pereira, that he obviously can put guys out probably at a better rate than a guy like Cannonier could, to be completely honest.
I think
and
so
like,
too.
again, if this fight with Pereira goes like that Cannonier fight, where and if you just watch the Cannonier fight, Pereira's camp, just watch it. He'll let you hang around. He'll try to download you. He'll try to figure you out. Just be a step ahead of him.
I don't think he can't do that. He can't do that in this fight.
I
don't think he can sit there and just relax for 5 rounds.
Pereira's a pressure. He's a pressure striker for sure.
But it's crazy because I don't know if I want to hear you guys' opinion on it too. If you see Pereira go out there and get completely sauced by Izzy, I would personally be like, oh, okay, I get it. Okay, he was winning fights in a smart way. He can still totally kill a guy,
Yeah.
But is that not right? Because like Michel Pereira is still just Michel Pereira, right? Like I know like beating Sean Strickland, good job. But he's just Michel Pereira. Or am I kind of overthinking this?
No, I get what you're saying. I would. I would agree. You got to get excited that he's like back on that horse, but you also just beat a guy who's fought 2 times in UFC, and it's like, really, was he really that good in the first place at a certain point?
Yeah, I would view it more as just, I wouldn't view it so much as that he conquered that. It was just that it's like, oh, he's conquered everybody. That's why I would finally look at Izzy like, I mean, I already kind of do. It's like 5 title defenses is. Most guys don't get that.
They don't.
Had
a chill conversation earlier about the Adesanyas, the GSPs, but we were bringing up Anderson Silva, of course, and saying that we were like, I was like giving credit for the wins over the Travis Luters and the Nate Marquards, whether he eked them out or he didn't, because those are the guys who were left, right? Like the Patrick Cotes were the guys that were left after you beat Rich Franklin twice, or after you beat whoever was the guy or two lingering around the top. And like when Izzy's beating that kind of, like I think Volk beating KZ was kind of like that. It's like, oh, you're just kind of now dusting people that you shouldn't even.
Yeah, no, the Volk KZ one, that was a big one. That was, I love Korean Zombie, one of my favorite fighters, but that was just a guy that they had no one else to throw at. Like
similar to when Izzy fought Yoel Romero. Yoel Romero was coming off of a loss going into that, so it was like, there's really nobody.
Like, I still think Yoel Romero had a better chance than Korean Zombie did. It is bad.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was
Korean Zombie, I love Korean Zombie, but he's past that point of being like, I'm a legitimate title contender right now.
He's known to take shots,
for sure.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, for sure.
Out of all things that you can be legendary for, striking, wrestling, takedown defense, for God's sake, but taking shots to the face, that's a bad thing to be legendary for.
That's the worst thing to have on your like all your like your stat trivias is like best chin. That's the worst.
You're like, so dude gets handled. Like it's like at one point Chris Levin knocked out Vondi, and I was like, no fucking way. When Chris Levin knocked out Vondi, I'm like, the guy who just stands there and takes everything all the time, and he knocked him out in like a minute. Knocked Vondi out super quick.
There was like Chris no way. And that's why it was so fun watching it. Just while Anderson's on the tip of the tongue, so fun watching his first fight.
It's funny.
Like, let's do it.
It's funny we're talking about like the having a chin as your attribute, because I was just watching something, I can't remember what it was. It was an MMA thing, and they brought up the fact that statistically Max Holloway has the best chin in the UFC.
Oh, I could see that for sure.
He has the 100% strike absorption rate, and they calculate that by like significant strikes that's landed on you versus like knockdowns per minute or something wild like that. And since Max has never been knocked out in over like almost 7 hours of in cage time, Max has never been knocked down from a strike ever.
Knocked down.
That's what I meant. I don't know if I said knockout. Knocked down.
You said knock out the first time.
Knocked down. Max has never been knocked down in a fight.
I don't believe it, dude.
It's insane.
I can't believe that.
That's wild.
It's almost 7 hours of in-cage time. He's never been knocked down, and he's absorbed. I can't remember how many strikes it is, but
he's landed more significant strikes than anybody in UFC by like 1,000.
And he's also absorbed more significant strikes than anybody in the UFC.
Oh, I can see that for sure.
I believe he has number 1 on both those statistics. I was like, damn, that is nuts, dude. The best chin in the UFC statistically
is also the like most volume thrown guy.
Yeah, it's so. But I mean, I guess it makes sense because if you're there and you're trading, you're also there to get. Yeah, you're trading. You know what I mean?
Okay. So I guess Max Holloway has technically never been knocked
down. Yeah, by the technical definition of a significant strike landing and causing an opponent to fall, he's never been. He might have tripped or something,
Well, he got shot by Dustin Poirier, but when he was going down, the fence technically caught his shoulders.
Yeah,
and that's not a knockdown. Even though, his ass ended up hitting the ground. That's technically not a knockdown.
Yeah,
because he could have been staggered or whatever.
But even if they had considered that a knockdown, he'd still be number one on strike absorption because that's one knockdown versus
right. I'm saying that it was like he pulled guard. They treated it like Justin got closer, like he pulled guard or something.
Right.
But still, that is incorrect. I was gonna say, Nate Diaz, Max Holloway is the fight we didn't know we needed.
Man, wouldn't that be fun?
But
man, Nate's so huge now.
Yeah. No,
Nate's massive now.
I do think that it would be pretty easy for Max to put on like a not very visible 10 pounds though.
Max would be working, and I'm telling you what, his footwork would have to be on 10 because if he got too many strikes, it would hurt him. Just on the size difference alone. Just because Nate is significant. Sure. He's like twice Max's size. But if Max was on 10 with his footwork and didn't get caught very much and was just jab.
If he just sat Nate Diaz down in the second round.
I would be none too happy.
Holloway in a catchweight with Nate Diaz would destroy Nate Diaz. It'd
be a fun fight.
Right now,
I kind of want to see it.
Yeah, Max Holloway would fuck up Nate Diaz. It would pretty thoroughly dominate.
I don't know if he can get big enough, man. Like this. Well, catchweight what?
To make the
160?
Do you think Nate can make 155 anymore? Because if they could, they would just do it at that.
No,
I don't think he would. I don't think he'd try even.
I think that Max could make 160 and like it not be very noticeable.
He just would have to cut zero weight. He'd have to cut absolutely zero weight.
Yeah, exactly.
He'd probably have to cut about 7 pounds, I imagine, if he really was like going.
I doubt he'd have to cut maybe like a pound or two. I think that he probably walks around 162. 160.
It might be a thing where he doesn't have to cut until like the day before, like
the reason he walks around so light though is he's never not in camp. Like
he is one of those guys.
He's never not in camp.
Their diets. They have to get it strapped as they can.
You guys know after the because for the second Volk fight, Max couldn't spar because it was during COVID. Since then he hasn't sparred he doesn't spar anymore. What do you guys think about that? Because he says that keeps
ridiculous, absurd. It's ridiculous and absurd, is what it is.
But then you look at it though, he had two good performances against like Cater and Yair off of not sparring.
He's just better than those guys. Like he's just
no. Disagree with you, Kyle. No, disagree. I think that Volk is just better than him. And that's
I said that too. But he's better than those guys too. What I mean is that he should definitely still keep sparring. Like,
you think if he had sparred, do you think that third fight would have looked any different?
That's my point.
No.
Well, and if that's
I don't think he would have won.
Then why keep sparring? Like, the guy has a family, he has a life outside.
Because eventually Volk's going to move on. Do you really want to just?
What do you mean Volk's going to move on?
He's about to fight for like 155 soon. He's not going to let him defend 2 titles.
Oh, I think that Max knows right now that he's in the twilight. He's like,
I think that's what that tweet was. That when he tweeted afterwards and was like, at first was kind of joking like they needed a fourth, and then he was like, "Nah, I'm just kidding." He was like, "Volk's the GOAT." He was like, "Congratulations."
But he beats anyone else, so that's the thing. He can still make a run at the championship.
Yeah.
All it takes is Volk winning the 155 or getting hurt or anything.
But here's
like
the thing, though. Why would Volk drop the 145? Volk could hold both.
Yeah, that's my thoughts too.
Volk can bounce back and forth. I don't think Volk would drop the 145.
Finally a guy at 145. There's finally.
Well, he's only going to be able to do it. Eventually, it's going to hold up a title, and Dana White's going to be like, "You're dropping one of them."
I don't know if he would, man. I think he likes the idea of having a double champ on his roster. That's good marketing.
The first injury is going to change everything, though. Now you put 2 belts on hold because of 1 injury.
I think they would just make interims. They always do interims.
Well, that's what I was getting at. That's what I was getting at. Like, he could easily be the interim guy, easily that quick.
Yeah.
So you should still keep sparring. Like,
yeah.
No.
If you're gonna take fighting seriously, you should still spar at least every now and then.
No, Max Holloway.
I'm sure he does to an extent, but I don't think he like. I don't know though. Maybe he just absolutely does not spar a single bit. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I heard them saying that. They were like ever since that second Volk fight, because they were
Does
bringing
he grapple?
That up. I'm sure he rolls. I'm sure he has to.
Okay, if he rolls, that's fine too, because his hands are so good. But like,
Yeah.
he's at least got to like roll and stuff. He's got to at least keep his.
They said what they would do
instincts
during the
ready.
pandemic, they would just do it through he would do all of his workouts and like classes through Zoom, which is kind of fucking nuts. Because that second fight against Volk, he did do very good.
Way better than he did in the third. Way
Yeah.
better than he did in the third.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you guys. I was thinking, I like how it's going, but I think that we should end it sooner than later. If you have a news topic you wanted to add in, you can, and I can edit this part out, and I can edit out that one thing from earlier where I checked on the brisket and kind of went pissed. But if you want to talk a little bit more, we can. I was just thinking, let's maybe announce a few things that we're going to do soon. If I could just kind of throw my ring in the hat, I think that we should do, of course, the London card. When is that London card, Sean?
It's the 23rd. Yeah, I believe it's 2 weeks from. So it's not this upcoming Saturday, but it's the one after.
After that, okay. So, did you guys want to maybe tinker around with some live streaming options?
I think we should live stream.
Either way, we're getting together, so whatever we want to do.
Yeah, get together, but
whatever we end up deciding to do.
Are we going to your house, Matt? Or are we going down to Kyle? Or what?
I'm happy driving down. I'm happy if Kyle wants to come down here and crash for the night. It's whatever's up to me. We can throw a full-fledged like little soiree with the three of us down here with beers and whatever. Or if you want to go up there,
I'm down for whatever.
Yeah, we can go up there and swing back. It's whatever.
Well, I'm gonna like take off work early that day, so probably get off around like noon. Come home, take a shower real quick, and then.
Yeah, maybe I can smoke us some ribs or something if we do it down here. I don't know, but we always get some good.
Yeah, we can do it at your place.
But yeah, so we got that. That's going to be the coolest fucking night ever. You know how London cards are for us.
So yeah, live stream that night.
Yeah, live stream that night. I don't know what the fights are next week. I did look at them.
I can't remember what. I just had it in my head. Why can't I not remember it?
Earlier. Doesn't matter. There are fights, but I thought, hey.
Oh, it's Yair Rodriguez versus Brian Ortega.
Yep, it's Ortega Rodriguez. Yep.
What's that?
Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez on ABC too. It's UFC on ABC.
This next weekend?
This upcoming one, yeah.
Oh, that's a great fight, dude. That's gonna be awesome.
I think they threw that Misha Tate Lauren Murphy fight on there too, so it even made it a little bit better.
That'd be all right. What else? Is there anything else on there at all that worth like noting?
Nothing too crazy. Nothing of note, I don't think.
I think it'll be a chill card to maybe like spot the main event stuff together if you guys wanted to.
Oh, we at least need to watch that main event.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking if you didn't want to like pod with it, or maybe we could use that as our live streaming tester. Just